Well, hello, creative world changers. I believe you are unique and creative to manifest joy, love, and creative solutions for yourself, your family, your community, your world, and beyond. I will be interviewing creative world changers to share their stories about how they are impacting the world. But we want you to be inspired. I create, you create, we create for good. My name is Jane Cook. Welcome to IUE for Good podcast. Welcome, Ashley Harrison. I am so excited to be talking to you today. Um, you're amazing. Ashley is doing some amazing creative things with retail and helping people creatively in that way. So I just can't wait for her to share all about that. And you guys are going to be excited and get on board with her. She is local to my area in Deloge, Missouri. So she's going to introduce herself, tell us your name, where you're from, where your business is, all that kind of thing.
My name is Ashley Harrison, and I live in Bonne Terre, Missouri, but my shop is actually located in Deloge, Missouri, which is pretty close in neighboring town. I lived in
Awesome.
Farmington my whole life. So I was born in Tennessee, and then I moved to Farmington very young, and then I've lived there until I got married.
Okay, so you're pretty much a local then.
I am.
Yeah, awesome. So I don't know that the people are familiar, so I am excited for them to find out where you are. Ashley just purchased a new building, has totally remodeled it, and she'll be telling you all about that. So she's got lots and lots of exciting things going on. But IUE for Good is a community of people who believe that creative people can actually change the world when they're ignited by God's love. And Ashley is one of those. I'd like for you to tell us, let's just start off talking about what problem or passion inspired you to find creative solutions to it. In other words, explain to us a little bit how you got started in creatively solving a particular problem, or you discovered a passion that you had in
Well,
what you're doing now.
sure. So I've always been one that loved a little retail therapy. I've always enjoyed shopping and just that part of my life as a young girl. But I did really love the things that were adhered more to giving back. I was just always more drawn to that. My heart has always been, since I was very young, for mission and just I have a heart for people that couldn't help themselves, and don't have a means or a way, and like we can just bridge the gap and those type of things. So we've been, just as a very young girl, I started like raising money for missions and different projects and stuff. So I just really combined two of those things together. Honestly, I never thought that I was going to do this. I knew I would do ministry my entire life, but I never knew that I would do like workplace ministry like I have. But at my heart, like the things that were really is just community, like shopping small and shopping local in the community and just loving on our community, and
Mhm.
how much that just really invests in the people around you. Just love the person in front of you. And but then of course, like a mission or a passion of mine is human trafficking, just that young girls, and like the awareness, or just even keeping them like even informed, like most people just don't know. And
Mhm.
so, if you can buy a t-shirt that's super cute and trendy and it gives back, like, I mean, you just can't beat it. You're going to buy the clothes anyways, it might as well give back.
Okay, let's get into this a little more because what is it exactly that you've done? Go ahead and introduce your store and let's explain exactly how you are using creativity for good. How are you giving back to people using uh, retail? And how is that affecting, who is it affecting, and how is it working?
We've done a ton of like small projects as a business, but my business is the Giving Tree Boutique. And we are a give back boutique. We've modeled after a couple of other that I've seen that give like a percentage of their like profits to different charities. What we do is try to like really like zone in on some local charities, but also while we're doing that, we also try to give opportunities to like artisans or people with like doing their own small businesses like wholesale and different things that give to missions or give back to missions. So we have like we do have your typical, like leopard cardigans. We do carry those as well. My goal would ultimately be to have everything be a gift back, but I did a ton of research when I first started opening our candles. Feed a child for a day. With that, we also have like Mud Love. If anybody has read the Love Does by Bob Goff, they so he has like very heavily been like involved with Mud Love, and they take clay and make bracelets and mugs. And so those give back to water, or they give 1 week of clean water for every bracelet purchased. And then that they work with Water for Good. So a lot of the charities have like bigger charities that you've probably heard of. You just don't hear a lot of times from the products as a way of like the fundraising for those charities. And so ourselves, we did not go 501c3. We are a business, but we work primarily with a lot of 501c3s initially.
Yes. So you're helping a lot of 501c by C3s by selling their product, and then a percentage of that product goes into helping those particular people. You want to mention some more of those? I think people would love to hear about anything you'd like to share about what the different projects are, because I think your boots and there's a
Yes,
lot of things that, yes.
we carry Aroma rain boots. They're made with like the same type of like material as even like a hunter boot, which is a really popular boot. They have, but the Aroma boots they give a pair of boots, and then they give also like aid in education and with school supplies and things like that in like third world countries. They also, but their slogan is giving poverty the boot. So we also have handmade earrings that give to the House of Chairs in Atlanta, Georgia. A pastor's wife in Tennessee hand makes and paints earrings. They're wooden, and she gives to the human trafficking, like the rescue part, mission part in the United States in Atlanta, and they have at the House of Chairs. So I'm trying to think. We also have necklaces that are made. They also just like give women, like women entrepreneurs, opportunity, and they just like bless these, just empower women and bless these necklaces as well. We do carry no core.
Nokor is from Cambodia, right?
Yes.
I'm laughing. I'm teasing her a little bit because Ashley helps me with that, with Empowered Women Create, and she has been such a blessing. And she truly is empowering women by making their product available. So when you purchase these things, you're actually empowering the women or the kids or the charity behind that in a very powerful way. It's something that we can do. All of us like to shop. All of us like to get cool stuff, cool new stuff. And Ashley always has an eye out for that sort of thing that's unique and so amazing. So it's a win-win situation. Like Ashley said, she loved retail. She loved shopping as a teenager and as a child, and now she's combined that. Was there some sort of epiphany, or how did you come to originally begin the Giving Tree? Kind of what was your journey on how you began doing this?
Missions has always just been such a huge part of my life and my ministry. I started ministry in like my local church at like the age of 12. And so I have just always had such a heart for that. And this was it just seemed one day to make sense to mix the two things that I enjoy the most.
Mhm.
I just thought like that it would be. And God really has like revealed to me throughout this time that like everybody has a weapon in their hand, and what you choose to do with that. And mine just happens to be retail, and just giving a platform to so many people that need that just a little extra in the, you know, the non-for-profits or the things that they're trying to do. This just gives away. So there was not ever like a great moment other than just following his voice. And as we've grown, it's grown to much bigger than I ever imagined. I never thought we would be on year even 6, but it's all right. Like, we're doing it. I don't know that we know exactly what we're doing, but we're doing it.
You are definitely doing it, and it's amazing. I love how you shared that it wasn't necessarily some big epiphany, you know. Those that are listening to us, we're wanting to encourage you today to step into those dreams and visions that you have as well, to use your creativity for good. And I love that Ashley brought out the point that if you're following day by day by day the heart of God, you're going to your path is going to coincide with his, or, you know, be right on, right on. Now tell us, you know, you're talking about missions. That was so important to you, and that's why you connected your love for shopping and retail and selling cool stuff with charity and with giving back. But was there a particular story that happened when you were maybe doing mission somewhere, or something that you read about, or something that you actually experienced one-on-one that really would express how you are helping someone else, or maybe triggered the desire in a stronger way to open up the door to help more people, and therefore changing the world? Absolutely.
Really, when the world, I guess the first thing that I should share is that when the world changed me. And and that sounds kind of like some type of way, but when I was 14, I went to a missions trip in Mexico, and we were building an orphanage to separate and finishing up the sanctuary to separate the boys and the girls during that time. And it was so life changing. I had lived a little bit, like, I mean, maybe not privileged, but compared to that, like, very privileged. And so it was so eye opening to see, like, that's when the world changed me. I saw it so much bigger than my small town and my, you know what I mean, like just crossing the border and, you know, finding those moments where God was just like so real to them, and they were so hungry for just like knowledge and love, and watching that. And they were my age, you know, like there was a young girl that was at the time 14 and had 2 small children in the orphanage, and she lived there herself. And so they were like, when we went to leave, it was so like heart gripping, and they were like all chasing after our van and like asking, you know, following us. And I just thought, you know what, I won't stop until I make a difference. I won't stop. My end goal is to have an orphanage, to have a place of rescue and refuge. Obviously, there's so many rules and regulations, and where that will be, I don't know. I always did think I would go back to Mexico because it's so imprinted in me, but I don't know for sure, you know. I'll follow wherever he leads, but that for sure is what this was the vehicle for me to get there, is to have this opportunity to get to that place. Ultimately, that's where we want to be. You know, my husband and I agreed. I honestly was like, you know, this is what we're after. And he said, okay. And so that's, you know, we've just been in pursuit since. But then also, since then, I've seen the need. Like when you see it firsthand, I'm sure you can relate, Jane, that it's so different. It grips different. There's a pursuit in you different when you see the heart of God and the people that he loves. And so that's what happened for me, is just like the pursuit. I just can't stop until there is a difference, you know? And everyone can't change. No one can change the whole world, but everyone can change something. Yeah. Everyone can change someone. Yeah. And so I just feel like that if we do, you know, little is much when God is in it. And so I do feel like at times we are some, you know, like the boutique side of things, we are small, we are fairly new, we are, you know, kind of unlearned at times, learning things and how to navigate this. But I know that this is just a vehicle to get to where God is wanting. But then the things that we've changed along the way is just to give people the hope. My favorite thing is that we have those necklaces that I was speaking about, that they like really just empower women. And so they give women jobs and those things in the United States. And so she makes these promise necklaces, and she was doing that to actually pay for even like some of her own like infertility and women, encouraging women with infertility. And she was praying over those. And it's blessed is she who believes the promises that he, will be fulfilled to her. Mm-hmm. And so we have been able to give those to like maybe 10 or 12 women in our community, and we have prayed over them. And we, not that there's any power in that necklace, but there is a power in the creator, And so when we give them, these women are having babies and adopting, and like God, we have just seen the fruit, and it's just because it's a token of their faith. It really has nothing to do with the power in the actual like item. It's just when you can reach up and grab that necklace and remember that God has spoken a promise to you, then it just feels different, like it just faith rises up and God moves in faith. Yeah. And so I just really feel like that has been the most rewarding that we've actually been able to physically see in the community. And it's so crazy that they bring in their babies, the fruit, like they're like, however the avenue that God has used for them to get there, it's not all been conception, but God knew, and God's went before, and they're just, whether it's adoption or fostering or whatever it is, like God's moving. And so it's just been so neat to see like just faith rise in the community just because of a necklace that they can hold on to. So,
yes. So powerful, Ashley. And I was thinking while you were talking about the necklace, because sometimes people get a little weirded out, but when you think about it, God uses visuals. He uses things. I mean, he took Abraham out. He gave Abraham a promise, and he took him out of the tent. He says, go outside and look at all the stars. That's how many descendants you're going to have. So I think you're very much on target. It helps people to visualize or to remember a promise. And also the prayer is so powerful. I mean, I think that is just absolutely over the top amazing. And I love that it's helping people locally as well as overseas. I love that your heart is for your community as well as for others overseas. Now, where did your connection with sex trafficking come in? Did you have any experiences or connections with a ministry or something that was doing that, or did you just have a heart? Because some things we just hear about and it makes us mad. We have a passion about it right from the get-go. But I just was curious, how did your heart start going that direction?
I've always done a lot of like ministry with young girls. And so it does start kind of coming around with awareness and just watching, because as small town as it is, it can also be in our city. Let's not ever, look away and not pay attention. So I was bringing in some awareness to just sexual exploitation and just bringing awareness to, like their worth and how important and valuable they are as young women in the kingdom of God. And just so in that vein, we would also, like, I worked with a ministry called the Zion Project out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, with Pastor Devin Wallace. And so we started working with them and Lindsay, and just a wonderful team there. And so they have homes at the time in Guatemala. I believe they had a couple homes in Guatemala, and they had like boots on the ground in a couple of other countries like Romania and Bulgaria. And so, but they also work with victims in Chattanooga. And so Atlanta is a very large place for human trafficking, even on a local, like in a fairly close Highway 44. Like they have, there's quite a few places like the pinpoint that they can really just go in and minister. And at that time, they were actually doing the rehabilitation after, not necessarily the rescue. They were working with the rehabilitation and just like counseling and ministering and them going to the dentist and getting new shoes. And so we started working with them at the time. And then we were actually able to bring a lot of their programming into our local church and community and like our local children's home as well. So we were able to kind of get some just boots on the ground in that regard as well for just awareness in our local.
Yeah. Isn't it just so beautiful to hear and see all the different types of ministries that connect? I mean, here you are in our little town and we're connecting with Guatemala. And, one thing I loved about in Cambodia was seeing different ministries work together and connect together. Some were rescuing the girls, some were creating sustainable income, some were creating nurturing, healing type programs. And I just absolutely, I know that this is how God's love is going to be shown throughout the whole world as we unite together across denominations and across different ministries. And I love that your heart is coming alongside and encouraging and supporting ministries and people that are already doing things, in that it just brings more people together. You're making more people aware about how they can actually help. Because sometimes when people hear about these problems that we have, such as sex trafficking, that's a big issue, and lots of other types of problems like, not enough clean water, people can get overwhelmed by that and think, well, what could I possibly do about that? So just that you're, like you said, you're doing something, and it gives other people a little toho in there to do something too. Even if it's not something new or different, it can come alongside, and it's just going to multiply the good work that's been going on already. So I love hearing all of those stories. So Ashley, you are on like a major creativity explosion right now in your life, and you always will be, as you were sharing your future dreams. And I am sure that that will come to fruition when it's time. But I love that you are excited and content in where you are now, but not content as in what do you call it when you're not moving forward, but as in excited about what you're doing now, and you're not allowing, well, I can't do an orphanage now, I don't know what to do, to keep you from doing something now. Because it's all the things that you're learning now are going to contribute to what comes in the future in such a beautiful way. And I just love knowing you. I love hearing your story. I love seeing what God's doing through you. It's amazing. So I would love for you, Ashley, you're an encourager. I would love for you just to spend a few minutes and share with the people who are watching or listening to the podcast, how could you encourage them to move forward in their dreams? How can you help them to understand that they can make a difference? What would you want to say to them today?
I definitely think just don't be discouraged in like a no or a wait or a maybe. Just continue to dream and keep moving. I think that long before I was in, business, I was dreaming. And so I think that dreaming means everything, because those dreams are from God, and they're birthed out of the love for God. And so I do feel like that's definitely something, because that, excuses will kill dreams. And so I just think that you should just keep dreaming. But also, I just, like I had spoke a little bit a few minutes ago, that like whatever God um, hands you, I studied out Nehemiah, and there was a weapon, they had a weapon in the hand, and then they would have a tool in the other, and that's how they rebuilt the walls. And it was so like us to think about it in our day and age, like, oh, they have like a hammer and a knife, like, but it wasn't like that. It was just whatever they could pick up around them, like if it was, you know what I mean, a broken rock or a piece of iron, or however it would be for them to work and do the work together to build the wall. And I feel like that in this moment in time that we are rebuilding, we're rebuilding a love for God and a passion for people. And so I think that with that, it would just be like, whatever it is around you, whatever you're doing, do it unto him, do it for him. And so and he'll bless it. And so like whatever's in your hand, just do it for him, use it for him. If you're a teacher, then you have that, or whatever your occupation is, then just do it for him. And so I think that it just will be different. It doesn't have to look cookie cutter like a weapon and a tool. It really is whatever he hands you and whatever is around you, pick up and just start moving in that, like in his love and in his, heart for people, and it will rebuild it, just like Nehemiah. So that's probably what I would say has been the most encouraging for me, is that it doesn't have to be this perfect thing to be what God has intended.
Yes, yes, I love that. And I love that about God. I mean, He created us, He knows what's in us, He knows what we have. And all He asks is we just give it to Him. So that's exactly what you're doing. And I know that you inspire so many people on a regular basis, not just today in the podcast, but on a regular basis that come into your store and that you minister to on a regular basis. So, people that are listening, how could people help you or support you? How can they connect with you? Would you like to share that? And then I will also put that on the IUBforgood.com website so they can track you down that way too. But can you want to give out some information on that?
The main platform really is social media. As far as like the business, it would be the Giving Tree Boutique, on Instagram as well. I think it's the Giving Tree Boutique G2G. But so we have those two social media platforms. You can shop on both of those social media platforms. We can make invoice, or however, we are not necessarily like set up with like a website and like online shopping, but you can totally shop via social media right now. But I definitely think that even shopping small or shopping local or whatever you're doing in your city as well, I mean, as much as it is like helping us in our ministry and what we're doing here is great. Like, you can buy the t-shirt, buy the bracelet, but also go and you can, support those things even online. It's not just about the Giving Tree, and then whatever you can do in your city for awareness, or for like, bringing awareness, or bringing just loving on somebody, I would say probably.
Awesome.
But
What was your Instagram again?
I believe it's the Giving Tree G2G.
G2G. I missed that. Okay. I know
stands
I
for-
have you, but I forgot what it was. G2G. Okay.
Yep. Get to give. Yeah.
Oh, get to get. Oh, yeah. I like that. I like that. So, as we wrap it up today, is there anything that I left out or we left out that you just your heart just wants to say? You want to share with them your exact location too, and some of that? Okay.
Yeah. We are located on 400 South Deloge Drive in Deloge, Missouri.
I think we better ask you what your favorite quote is. I like to end with a favorite quote, or like an inspirational saying or a scripture, and you can, expound on that as much as you want or not.
My favorite scripture, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Acts 20:35. And it's definitely what I have modeled my life after, for sure. And that's not just like your monetary things. It really is just more blessed to give. And so that's probably my most favorite, for sure.
Well, that's a powerful scripture to end with, and it is so succinctly you and what you're doing. You've started the Giving Tree. It's called the Giving Tree for a reason, because you're giving back, and your whole heart is to give back. So we thank you for sharing. I thank you for sharing with me today, and I know the audience has fallen in love with you and will be coming in to see you, or go on Instagram or Facebook and check it out. And we'll be looking to see what happens in the future, and you can keep us posted on that too. So thank you so much, Ashley. We're excited for you to be doing what you're doing. Bye for now.